right, so Shape of My Heart by Sting. This is from 10 Summoner's Tales, released in 1993. And such a beautiful song. It was co-written with his guitar player, Dominic Miller, who's just a superb guitarist, very classically oriented, classically trained. And this is a really, there's certain parts of this song, like that are real, like, tongue twisters for the fingers kind of thing, right? But anyways, let's get into it. We're in F sharp minor here, and we're going to play a series of patterns here. Okay, and I'll go over those. And my demo at the beginning is kind of a combination of the album version and this live version I'll leave links to on my website. Just click that eye up there in the corner, it'll take you to my website, or the first pinned comment, or the description box. So I combined this sort of live version of him and Dominic Miller just basically sitting on a couch playing it. And I basically played that version, but I added a little drum track and some bass. Okay, so let's get into it. This is your first figure. I'll go over the figures, and then I will go over the picking. So we've got that. All we're playing is the A string, the G string, and the B string. So we got A9, G6, and B8, or B10. Now we're going to slide down to B9 and A7. So from there to there. Now we slide that whole thing down 2 frets. All right, and then we've got, we're just going to bar here on the 4th. We're still just playing the A string, the G string, and the B string. And we just drop our little finger down one more. It's like a C sharp 7 sus4 to C sharp 7. We're only ever playing 3 strings, the A string, the G string, and the B string. All right, now the second time through, we're gonna, instead of playing that, we're gonna raise that first finger up to the 7th fret, and then the other 2 are exactly the same, and those are exactly the same. All right, so let's go over the picking up till there. All right, so a lot of times when you finger pick, you're going to pinch. The first note is going to be the bass note and the high note. But on this one, we're just starting with that high note on the B string. So B, A, G. Back to the B. And we're just kind of lead with that A string as we go down. B, G, B. Okay, and then we change that fingering. Picking is exactly the same. Now we're going to go, actually just show you the chords first. And this is the chord that's going to make you want to give up. Because it's really hard to get this, right? It's very unusual, and it's a real kind of a finger twister, So we've got A5, G4, we've got B7, and E5. And that's going to go right into this, which is E5, B5, and G2. G2 to G4, going back. So, that, I practiced that so much, just going from there. So now I'll show you the picking for that. We've got that da-da. And then GB. Then GE. And then BG. We're hitting that low A first. We're hammering on G4. And we're playing the G and the B at the same time. Okay, now there are easier ways of playing that. You could go, right, using that open D. And then when you get down to the A, you could go, just play the open A. And I've actually seen certain clips of Dominic Miller, he'll play the A like that. Now he never does that, never does the open D, because there's something about that change that just works better than, I mean, who knows? It's the same notes, it's just that different feel to it. Right? So you could simplify it. Instead of doing that, just use the open A. Now we're going to go, that's just a C sharp major. We've got, it's the 7th shape, but we're not even playing that minor 7th. Right? And then we've got going up a fret to D7. That's just D major because we're not playing that. And then this chord here, which is 4th fret E, D, and G, and 2nd fret B, and we play this melody. Now when he does it, he will just bar that whole thing. But for me, I can't get that to sound when I do that. Depends on how big your fingers are, right? So I opt to go like this. Okay, and that is the whole first pattern. So let's play that whole thing. Alright, so that just keeps going, but there's one little change he makes, and that's on that lick. So he's going to go second time through, right? Okay, which is so much easier than doing that. So that's just A5, B4, and B7, just hammering on G6. Sliding down into that figure that we already know. Okay, so that changes everything, and it just makes it so much easier to play. So let's do the pattern with that. It will be the second time through. And that ending's a bit different, which is we don't do the melody like we do in the first time. We're just going to go bow, bow. and that repeats again, and then we have a slightly different ending next time, so right, so 3 times. That's not the shape of my heart. And then we're going to take our little finger off to get that F sharp minor 7. You do it again. Right, just 1, and we're hitting that low note in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then we go into the break. So let's do it from here. Of my heart, and then we go into the break. Okay, and that is essentially that down a string, right? So we're going to go 9th fret E, 9th fret G, and 6th fret D. We're just bringing the whole thing down, right? But because of the difference in tuning, you know, our fingering's a little different. The difference in tuning between the G string and the B string. Right? Then, okay, so we're keeping that finger there, and we're just changing from there to there. But second finger. Slide that whole pattern down 2. Then, and then second time through, you know, we're raising that note up to there, right? Those two are exactly the same. And then that is that, but just down a string. Right, so we got A5, D4, G6, and B5. Now we're going to go down to this E shape. It's like an E sus2 to an E like power chord. And then we're going to be here. That's like a G sharp 7. Just playing the A string, or the E string, the A string, the G string. Now, we're just playing that A. It's an A chord because we're not playing that 7th, but we're fingering it this way. And then that is a G sharp 7, so that's 4. That's the 6th fret of the A and the G, and then barring. And then we just go down to a C sharp minor, and then we take our little finger off, C sharp minor 7, and an A bar chord, and then back to this G sharp 7 sus 4, ending on this A chord, be like an A sus2, and then we're back in that. Okay, so let's do that whole thing from the break. And then we just repeat the whole, like, you know, I'm not going every verse because there's a ton of verses. I'm sort of just showing you all the parts in a more condensed style. Okay, so now the only thing that changes is the ending. And the ending on the album is just right? It just ends on that F sharp. Now the live ending, which I think is really cool, really like the live ending. The live ending is going to be more, let me see, the shape of my heart, that's not the shape of my heart. And I think that is just awesome. I love that ending. So we know all this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go into this B minor 7 shape, and we're just going to play the B string, the A string, and the D string. So it's B string, A string, D string, B string. Now we're going to shift that down to this A7 form, and I like to do it like that. So that finger just slides down. Right, that's that A7 shape, but we're of course not playing the G, so it's just an A. And I'm leading that bass. Just like that. Right, so. Now this one, I'm not leading the bass, and that the shape there is 4th fret E and G, and 5th fret D, or A. And now we're going to end up with this crazy chord. So we're going to bar here in the 4th, and we've got a little finger on the 7th of the D and the 6th of the B, just arpeggiated. And now, if you watch that live video, the last chord is cut off, right? But again, at the website, I'll leave a link where you can see the actual last chord. Like, there's 2 videos of that. One's got like 54 million views, and the other one that has the last chord has way, way less than that. But what he does in the last chord is he just plays, he plays that, but you know, he's on a short scale guitar, so he's able to, and he's got bigger hands, right? He's able to play that, like barring that, right? And like, there's no way I can do that. My hand isn't big enough. So what I do is I cheat, and I just play that, and I play that. That's E2 and A4, and then once I play that, when I hit this note, I let go of that. And I shift it back to bar to G, B, and E strings, right? So it's more like... And you really don't miss that ringing, because it dies off pretty quick. And there I've got, I'm adding, what is that, D6 with that bar, right? And it's just a straight arpeggio. And we're coming back on those high strings. Ending on the G string. Then we're going to go little finger there. And we're going to bar again here. Da, 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 da. And then just ending on that F sharp minor. Okay, and that is it for this one. You know, this is a lot of stretching, and it's a real workout. I mean, even if you're not in love with this song, it's a fantastic song to learn for your technique. Like when I was first learning it, you know, I spent so long trying to get the muscle memory on that part, because that is so, like, whoever plays that, I never play that, and I would never play that. Between that and that, you know, that took a long time just to get those stretches. But stuff like that is so worth it, because it's like working out, you know, it's like Olympics for your fingers kind of thing, you know, and it really increases your dexterity, stretches out your ligaments, and it's all good, right? It makes you a better guitar player. All right, so that's it for this one. Like I always say, I hope you get something out of it, and we'll talk to you next time.